Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody. My name's Michael Schwartz from Gun Owners Radio, and this is Lead Talks. Lead Talks happens every Monday night at 7 p.m., almost every Monday night at 7 p.m. It is a free service, a free lecture, some free information. What we do is we bring instructors from all over Southern California, San Diego, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Orange County, and we introduce them to you by having them talk about something that they're particularly passionate about, something that they have a certain amount of expertise in, a particular subject that they can inform you, and that way you can learn more about the instructor, whether you've never worked with an instructor before or you're looking for a new instructor. This is a good way to see what's out there and get to know some folks and expand your horizons. So hope you enjoy. Don't forget to watch Gun Owners Radio. It's every Sunday, now starting at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Just go to youtube.com/Gun Owners Radio, or you can do a search for Gun Owners Radio on any podcast provider. So, without further ado, Jim Belanger from Paragraph 2, and you're going to talk about what firearms to own for home defense.
Good,
How are
Michael.
you, my
Great to be
friend?
here with you.
Good. Well, thank you for taking the time. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, and I'm looking forward to hearing your lecture. So thank you so much, Jim.
All right, Michael. Thank you very much. See you in a little bit.
Yep.
Welcome, everybody. These are fun to do for a guy like me. Couple of things that I want to say uphand. If you didn't see the last two lead talks, please go back and look at them. The guys, Dietz and Mike, did a great job of working through home defense situations that you need to look at. And again, there's so many things that are out there that we all have to spend time on and try to figure out some answers. Mike, I hope you're watching this so I can pick on you a little bit because I love you, man. Mike's a great guy, and we get to work together. We get to see each other. And I know the work that he does with his students is fantastic. So if you get a chance to work with him, please, by all means, take that chance. As we go back through and we look at different things about where am I at or what's happening in this world today, we're coming up on some very serious times with the election and other things, and it could go either way. We have to kind of look at law enforcement and see where they're at and see what's going on. Take the recent ruling in SB2. Many of the sheriffs are just kind of saying, "Hey, we'll let you know what we're going to enforce." So there has been some tremendous infringement, and it will continue to happen as long as these people are in office. So number one, we got a big election coming up. Please vote. That's probably better than any defensive handgun you could have in your home. Many people on the right, and especially women that are firearms enthusiasts, don't vote as much as they talk about how they vote. So we need everybody to come out and make a difference. It's getting too important in these days. One of the things also that becomes important, I teach CCW for Los Angeles, San Diego County, and Orange County. So I get to see and get to work with different situations. And in Los Angeles, generally, you're told to kind of defend yourself for up to 45 minutes if you're in a home invasion. And then the previous sheriff had said, if we come at all. Many of the people that I get to talk to in the sheriff's department say that the sheriffs themselves don't even have enough people for backup and are actually doing home invasion calls without backup. Extremely dangerous and extremely nothing but bad can come from that in the future. So what does that mean when you say, hey, what am I going to do in my home? So recently, everybody who's coming in, getting a CCW, asking about guns, asking for training, 10 years ago didn't want to have anything to do with a gun or anything to do with a person like me. We were kind of used all kinds of bad names, stuff like that. That's okay. And now they're coming to us and very quietly and sheepishly saying, can you show me a few things about protecting myself and my family? And I think the best part for all of us as instructors is to welcome those people in and say, hey, great, let's go see what you can do. If we do anything at all, hopefully we can teach you not to get involved in a shooting, not to get involved in a home invasion, and to pay attention, give you the signs and all the training so that that doesn't happen to you. And that's kind of important. There's a lot of suburbs in the Los Angeles area that literally gang members are walking the streets and robbing homes, and they're setting up defensive situations, like every fifth house with someone in the garage behind a table and a piece of iron, and they're defending 5 homes at a time, and the gang members will just walk right by them. And these are neighborhoods that are right around UCLA. These are not poor neighborhoods. These are very rich neighborhoods. So it's a heightened level out there, and it's a level, it's a pretty frightening level that we get to see. So people say to us, what kind of a firearm do I need to work with? And again, we're going to cut a little bit to the chase here tonight. If you're going to hold a pistol in your hand, you're going to have 2 points of contact each hand. If you hold a shotgun in your hand, you're going to have 3 or 4 points if you do it the right way. And if you have a rifle like an AR-15, you're going to have 4 points of contact. The more points of contact, the easier it is to shoot the firearm and to protect yourself. You don't really want to be defending yourself with a pistol, short ranges and stuff like that. So when you're in your home and you're in a home defense situation, and Mike talked last week about percentages of how many people come in the front door, how many people come in the back door and side door, how many people come through the windows. And you're like 26, 23, 22%. Everybody else comes through the garage. Where can you put yourself in your home where you can defend yourself? And what will be cover? And cover is something that stops a bullet. There are not a lot of things in a home that stop a bullet. Many people say all kinds of stuff, like a bookcase or a freezer full of meat, things like that. Those are not really good options. Again, gun safes are really nice. And again, if you can put it in your garage or in the lower part of your home, they work out pretty well. So we got to look for those kinds of things as we put ourselves in a defensive situation. And as Mike talked about last week, all he's doing is buying time by putting in a solid core door, by putting in different locks and longer screws. And he gave out tremendous information about what you can do to secure your home better. And he has a lot of experience with that. He talked about his safe room and what he wants to do with that. So again, and he said, I have firearms, I have ammunition in there for myself and my wife. So what are you going to carry for yourself? And then you say to yourself, what if it goes on? What if we continue without a rule of law? And I hate to say that, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but we are close to being in a position where there is no rule of law. If your car is stolen in Los Angeles County, the police don't come. If you have a home invasion, it'll take them up to 45 minutes if they come at all. Those are extremely frightening situations when you're looking against a group of people breaking into your home and to steal or just cause havoc, mayhem, murder, anything else like that. Those are frightening situations. So how do you prepare? And what's the right firearm for you to deal with? I do teach a lot of concealed carry, so there's a couple of really neat and fun. I shouldn't. Fun's a bad word. We're in death-defying situations and very lethal confrontation. So it isn't fun. It's about concentration and mastering your own mind and having the right mindset. So some of the newer firearms that we've been able to add to the list is a Sig Sauer P365, an excellent firearm, very small, works very well for women, works very well for concealed carry as well. The Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro is an excellent firearm as well. Smaller, again, both are 9mm. And again, the new MP Shield Plus is getting a lot better than it used to be. So those are 3, kind of smaller firearms. And don't be afraid if you can find a revolver, because revolvers are tremendously reliable. And I have a Smith & Wesson 686, just a fabulous firearm. It's a 357. It holds 7 shots. And so it gives you the reliability that only a revolver can give you. That said, every firearm that you have, you want to be able to master and say to yourself, at what percentage do I want it to work? And many people will come in. I had a gentleman come into a CCW class 2 days ago on Saturday. That'll be 1 day ago, yesterday. And he had never cleaned his firearm, and it wouldn't work properly and it wouldn't cycle properly. And so we took it all apart right there in class. And then he was amazed at how well it shot, but he never took the time. If you're going to defend yourself in your home, if you're looking for the best situation, make sure your equipment is cleaned. Make sure it's well lubricated. Because again, it's a moment. It's a very difficult moment when someone's kicking in your door and you're trying to buy the seconds till you can put yourself in a position to defend your family, your children, and your wife, the people, your loved ones. So everything happens fast. So again, in my situation, as a concealed carry holder, I'm sitting at home watching TV. I'm wearing my firearm. I don't want anybody to break into my home, but if they do, I want it to be at my side because things happen so fast. And if you haven't, like Mike said, done the things to preserve your security in your home, they can be in your home with 2 kicks and knock down the door. That doesn't give you a lot of time for defense. These are violent situations, people coming with a real purpose. At this point, we still have to deal with those things. So again, a couple of 3 pistols that we gave you, or 4 with the revolver. The next thing that I would talk to you about is the shotgun. And a shotgun is an excellent firearm and good for a little bit more range than a pistol. Work with a shotgun. Make sure that you don't, it might be a 12 gauge shotgun, might be a 410. Make sure that you don't use birdshot, that you use rock salt shot. Okay, I said that wrong. But you want to use the salt shot. Again, it's going to make a big difference. As a young man stealing sweet corn at a young age, I got to feel what that would feel like in my tail end when I was about 12. So again, it's you want to be able to put enough injury on a person. We're not asking you to destroy some person. That's what we would want you to do last. This is a last resort situation. But again, once you can put that firearm out and point it at someone, generally it stops 90% of everything that goes on. And that's what we're trying to do. You want to shout your commands. You want to say, don't come any closer, stay away. I'm going to call the police. And again, you don't have to fire a gun. Nobody wants to get shot. Bad guys are looking for the easy kind of position. They're looking for a way to push you and have you retreat. And we're a castle doctrine state. You don't have to retreat, but in some cases, it just might be the better idea just to remove yourself from that situation. I think Mike said, and I love Mike for this, he goes, they can have my TV, they can have this, they can have that. It means nothing to him. And, I think that I always give Mike a hard time for saying that, but he's right. He's 100% correct. Nothing is worth your life, or if you push yourself to the point where you press that trigger, it will change your life forever. So remember, there's a mindset, there's a plan. And the plan that you put together for your family, where everybody's going to be, what your code words might be, what the plan is where everybody will go based on the break-in. You got to have, everybody's got to know where they're at. I was talking to a gentleman, his young son lives in the bedroom downstairs. Everybody else is in the 3 bedrooms upstairs. So we had to build a safe room out of that room. So if someone broke in, he knew his son would be okay. He would not have to come down and be on the first floor and be, in that case, an instigator. So we could then take his choke point from the bottom of the stairs to the top of the stairs. And a choke point is the area by where you would meet the perpetrator, and that's where your confrontation would take place. Again, you can't fire a warning shot. You shouldn't fire a warning shot, but you can point a gun at someone, and that's in self-defense. You can't just wave your gun around. That's brandishing. But self-defense means I am fearful of bodily harm or injury for myself or one of my loved ones. And it becomes just critical that everybody understand what's going on in that situation. So with a shotgun, obviously, the bullets are going to be a little bit wider. It's going to be a bigger hole. Police officers used to carry that in their patrol car, and they'd grab that when they were running in. Now they grab an AR-15 or something along those lines, which is a much more versatile gun, a really well-balanced firearm. And it takes a lot of heat because people say it's a weapon of war and everything else like that. it's not a weapon of war unless you pull the trigger. But this one is one that's well balanced. It's easy to handle. It doesn't have a big recoil, and it can do a fair amount of damage. But the more importantly, damage is psychologically what that looks like in your hand, and what the bad guy, the criminal, sees. He's going, I don't want to mess with that, because that's a bullet that travels and really can maim and hurt people. So again, it's you have to be inside their head. They're trying to get in your head. They're going to break into your home in many different ways. They may just kick in the door. They may rush you. And again, if you have the solid core door with all the pins, and it's a level 8 fiberglass door, it might take 17 times. The good news is every one of these guys is looking for the easy place to break in. If they've kicked it 4 times and their leg hurts, they might go on down to your neighbors. I want to tease Mike again because he said he wanted to chase everybody down to his neighbors. I don't want to be Mike's neighbor. No, I'm teasing you, Mike. But he's right. You have to defend yourself, take care of business the way it's going to go down. As we get into more and more of a situation of law and order, people have talked about the 10 days of darkness and all kinds of things. That's supposedly a time when everybody kind of goes, hey, you know what? Everything on the TV means nothing. I don't believe anything. We're going to shut the TV down, and it's not going to be the way that they're going to communicate. Both sides, good guys and bad guys, have all kinds of plans about that. Be honest with you, I believe we're there right now. I don't think anybody believes what's on television. I mean, I find it hard to believe that anybody said anything anymore. So again, we're getting skeptical. It's getting more dangerous. And we have to say, how do I defend myself in my home? So one of the really cool ways that you can do that is if you can create a defensive situation, something that will, a choke point in your home, say the top of the stairs, maybe with a, we sell different things in our business that are level 8 pieces of fiberglass, and they come in 1x1 sheets, or they come by 4x8 sheets. They're $1,200, but you put that up against the wall and it'll stop more of the high powered firearms. You don't want to go level 1, 2, or 3. That's not going to stop anything. So again, we help people to make the design in their home and say, hey, let's make this our choke point. This is where we're going to be. And once you can sit there and know that they're not going to shoot you, you're behind cover, you're not going to take a bullet, then you're in a better position. When they can see that, they turn and go the other way. They don't want to be coming home or leaving with more holes than they came with. So they're pretty smart. They don't want to get hurt. One of the things they don't like, one of the things that I do like for home defense is window breakage. Those siren things, the minute you hit it, it creates that noise. That noise brings attraction, and they don't like that. The sound of gunfire brings attraction. However, no warning shots, okay? We come from other states where those things are okay to do. Many people think, but in California, that's not allowed. Yes, we have been infringed upon and have been continued to be infringed upon. And again, unfortunately, as Judge Benitez has so granted us so many times, we're still fighting about 10-round magazines. So we put ourselves in some difficult situations, and you have to practice how you do that. You create a choke point in your home. You sit, say, on a chair or something like that. You cover, I used to have gyms, so I have 45-pound plate weights, the things that you lift when you're lifting. And I put 2 of those on a chair. Those will stop a bullet and shoot from behind them. That's called shooting from cover. And we just practice that because we want to be able to protect ourselves at a choke point in our home. And then everything is directed. So when they break into our home and they want to come after us or do whatever, we know the direction that they're coming in, and we're going to meet them where the odds are in our favor. That will usually put them away. They won't have anything to do with you, and they'll leave. If you're in the event where the people who broke into your home are marauders, and that means they came with a group, 3, 4, 5, and they're looking for more things like that, and they're dealing in things like mayhem and rape and murder, then you got a little different problem on your hands. And I would really, at that point, and I'm going to say this to everyone: start with a pistol, get some good basics in. Understand there's nothing normal about this. Nothing. It's an explosion 2 feet from your nose. That's not normal. And it's not easy always to get used to something like that. So come talk to one of us, work with us, let us get you through that. Because if you can sit down, get behind something, be by cover, put a pillow on a chair, put your hands on it, you're going to be shaken. You're going to be frightened. We all are in a gunfight. There's no tough guys in a gunfight, only the guys you watch on TV, right? And then they come out and say all the things that they need to say. It's a frightening experience. Someone's going to lose their life generally in a gunfight. So what we want to teach you is to never get into it, never let it evolve, never let it happen. So do everything you need to do. Keep your head on a swivel, create a plan, and let everybody in your family be safe. Again, it doesn't matter if you're outside the home, you're in a restaurant, there's a mass shooting. A lot of times they say, hey, run. Well, the mass shooters shoot at the people who are running. You're a target. And I remember Jordan Peterson telling the story about on the Serengeti. I think it was Serengeti. He was talking about zebras, and the scientists wanted to know why they were doing so well and everything. And they were studying them, and they'd look at the zebra, and then they'd make a note, and they'd look back up, and they go, "Ooh, which one was it?" So they painted one of them, a couple of them, with little red spots on their ear, and the next morning they came back, and they were dead. And they talked to the guy that was the servant, and he said, "What happened?" And he goes, "Well, they were identifiable. The lions could now track them and create a plan." So everything that's going on in your days today is the bad guys are trying to create a plan around what you're doing, where you're tracking, what's going on in your home. Do you pay attention? So again, in my neighborhood, I like where I live in Corona, California. And when I see a woman out jogging by herself at 9:30 at night, I just cringe. I just cringe. This is not a safe world anymore. And I feel bad for these people. And a lot of times I'll just sit out there and introduce myself and then follow them, and just so they get home safe. I don't think they understand how dangerous it really is out there. So again, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to say to you, hey, put your head on the swivel, be really, really smart about where you're at, know your environment inside and outside of your home. Inside your home is a lot easier because you know everything. You know all the corners and alleyways. And so when you don't just stay in your home, get outside of your home, see where the alleyway runs. Find out where you can have cover, a brick wall, a piece of steel, something like that, that you could sit by and to still defend your home and your property and your loved ones. Again, if we go back to the LA riots, they were running around with Molotov cocktails, throwing them at the different people, and we had the Korean rooftop shooters, and they live in their businesses, and they were shooting at the people because they knew they were coming to burn them out. You've got to be prepared for that in this lawless society that's growing on us. I pray that stops. I pray that all of us get in a safer place. So in the meantime, let's go back through 3 pistols that I said that are in 1 revolver that could be a good choice for you. Think about a shotgun, and then think about a rifle. And the most important part about a rifle is distance. And you want to be, if you're going to be in a gunfight, you want to be in one that's far away. And you want to be able to take advantage of that situation, take your shot, and then move and go to a different place. In a battle, in a neighborhood of 10 or 12 people coming up against your home, you're not going to just jump out like you see some of these people practicing and go 1-on-4 and see how fast you can switch out your gun. That's crazy. Stay behind cover, protect yourself, win the battle one person through attrition at a time, same way you eat an elephant, and you'll be able to put yourself in a better place. Our world's getting more dangerous, it's not getting less. And we see more and more people coming in every day, and they don't have any basis, they don't have any understanding. I grew up as a farm kid in Wisconsin. So I know a lot about these things, but again, some people now never were raised like that, never had that ability to learn. So find yourself an instructor. Make sure that you kind of meet up with them and it's a good working relationship. And then try a couple of different instructors. You'll learn something every day. But the great thing about as you get better with firearms, you have to continue to practice. And practice is so important. And it's a diminishing skill. So if you stop shooting, you're just not going to be as good. So you got to go out there a little bit and practice. You can make it fun, but you can also got to make it serious. You got to have a plan, and the plan's got to be before they start kicking in your door. All right, Michael, you got anything you'd like to add?
Great talk. I enjoyed it very, very much. And I just wanted to clarify, every time you said Mike, you were talking about Mike Pettingill.
I was, yeah.
Not Mike
The ugly
Schwartz.
one, not the good looking one, the ugly one.
I got
Don't tell him I said that. He can beat me up.
I got a couple of questions for you. Let's see.
Okay,
Question from Peanut 3050 on YouTube. Peanut wants to know, is kick the door open enough, or do they also have to threaten your life as well? Good question.
great question. Again, Peanut, when they kick in the door, it's in a violent measure. So that's going to be kind of a different situation. By California law, I'm not an attorney, but again, the standpoint is they're going to either point a gun at you or do something. And then they want you, the powers to be and the lawyers, for you to match their escalation. So if they bring a knife, you bring a knife. You bring a gun, they bring a gun. I've got to be honest with you, Peanut. Somebody kicks in my door, it's enough. Okay. I'm 70 years old. That's not good legal advice, but I'm telling you, I've seen enough of these people out here, and they wouldn't be kicking your door in if they were coming to have a lemonade drink with you.
And that's the and Peanut, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Please be sure to talk to
Seek advice.
a properly licensed attorney from California. But if you look up Castle Doctrine, and if you look up the penal code for California in particular, California's penal code when it comes to self-defense is actually very good. Our gun laws are horrible, but the self-defense laws are actually pretty good. And it's basically, I'm not going to go too deep into the Castle Doctrine. I don't think either of us should go too deep, Jim, because it is starting to get in on attorney territory. But what you just said is key, and it's my understanding of how the law is usually interpreted. If somebody's breaking into your house, it's not because they're trying to give you a glass of lemonade. They're not. That's not. It's assumed they're there to do bad things to you. So that's a good question, though. Okay, Peanut actually has another question. Peanut wants to know, what do you think about warning shots into the floor?
Actually, in California, a warning shot is illegal. Again, if you are going to do anything with a warning shot, it should be directed somewhere into a floor. That bullet can ricochet. There's a lot of things that could happen. You don't know what happens. Just remember, more importantly than anything, when you get into an altercation, we would like you just to point the gun at them. That's our self-defense law. Scream at them, yell at them, raise your voice. Stop, don't come any closer. Don't make me shoot you. I'm calling the police. Back up, don't come any closer. As loud as you can. The minute you press that trigger, you're going to be under arrest. There's going to be a court date. There's going to be all kinds of things. And in California, the thing that makes it most difficult is once a shot goes off, they usually start running. He's going to run out, trip on one of your bushes, and he's going to sue you for a civil suit. So again, these guys are professional criminals. They know what they're doing. And in a lot of cases, they're just going to set you up. So don't do a warning shot, but point your gun right at them. Keep your finger off the trigger till you're ready to shoot, and be prepared at any moment to defend yourself.
There you go. Thank you, Peanut. This is K Style 1. Should NFA items be used for home defense?
NFA,
So I think he's talking about
non-lethal.
no, I think he's talking about like short barrel firearms or even full auto firearms, that sort of thing.
Oh, I see. So again, don't do anything illegal. You're going to put yourself in trouble, and you're going to put your family and your home at risk. There has never been any type of a gun situation where there was a discharge that wasn't followed by a civil lawsuit. And when you are using illegal guns or things that aren't appropriate here in California, they're just going to come down harder on you. And unfortunately, I mean, you have all the rights in the world to have all the firearms that you should have. We live in a very litigious state. And unfortunately, we're not voting well enough to get rid of these people. Oh, was that a run out answer?
No, I think you covered it. I think you covered it. I think you're right about the voting part. Yet we're not voting good enough yet. We're getting there.
Good, yes.
Rick Cohen, my buddy, he asks, what do you advise when you have multiple family members, each with their own firearms, vis-a-vis home invasion?
Is this Rick Coin the one that I know too?
Maybe Rick Cohen. Do you know Rick?
I do.
Great guy.
Great guy and very knowledgeable. Probably could answer that question better than me, I think. But again, when you have multiple people, the most important thing is you have to have a plan. You got to know where everybody's at. You can't just, I get to teach in churches a lot, countering the mass shooter. And, we usually have a couple of retired police officers that are concealed carry holders and they just stand up and start shooting. That's not an answer. You have to practice the drill. Everybody's got to know where they're going to be, and you got to make sure that nobody's in a line of fire. So it's just not the time to make a plan in your home or your home defense is not while you're drawing the gun. It's way ahead of time. And you need to practice those drills in your home. There needs to be safety meetings, and there's got to be a program where everybody understands where everybody is and doesn't cross a line or step into a line of fire. It takes a lot of practice.
Good answer. Okay, I think that's it. I want to make sure. I think that's our last question, Jim, but let me double check. By the way, going back to that NFA question, they actually would make great home defense guns,
Yes.
but the legality part is of course the most important part, which I believe you're absolutely right. But it shows that these laws do not make us safer; they make us less safe because they're banning some of the most effective self-defense tools you could possibly own. Oh, here's one. Here's a question. Spawned from K Styles' original question. For home defense, should you worry about hearing protection?
Good question. Really good question. You could stand around and put a pair of earmuffs next to your bed. That's just going to take time. And in a home invasion, you don't have time. You must react quickly. You must get to your firearm, and every step becomes too important, especially depending on if you have to go upstairs or downstairs, or if you have children on a different floor. So typically, in any situation like that, you start discharging a gun. You're not going to hear it anyway. We got some really cool motor skills the good Lord gave us, and we will not hear the shot. Our heart will be racing and pumping. There'll be a whole lot of things going on, but no, you can go without hearing protection. It would just slow you down.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. Jim, what's your website? How do people find you if they want to train with you?
I'm at paragraph2.net. That's the word paragraph, and I'm not an English teacher. So it's not that. And then the number two, and then .net. I train out of Rahagi's. I have an office there, and I have one in Anaheim Hills because we train Orange County CCWs there as well.
Great, Jim. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Everybody else, I will see you Sunday from 5 to 7 on Gun Owners Radio, and then we'll be back here next Monday at 7 p.m. Thank you so much.